Hello everyone, I just took the full process of the Duolingo English practice test and I scored 140 to 150. And in this video, I'm gonna go through some important part of the test and share some useful tips and strategies to help you get a high score in the Duolingo English test. Okay, now let's get started. Now we can see the first section is read and select. This section actually tests two important things. The first is our vocabulary. We need to judge if the word is a real English word. And for each word, we only have 5 seconds, so we need to do it very quickly. Okay, let me show you a few examples of how I did the test. Just like this, just identify the word quickly and click yes and no. Okay, let's go to the next section. Okay, section 2 is fill in the blanks. This section is actually very challenging because we only have 20 seconds for each question. So let's see how the question is like. Okay, we can see a sentence with a blank, and first we need to read it quickly and to get just the general meaning, like I had to sum my essay after I received feedback from my teacher. So from the structure, we need to identify if it needs a noun or verb or adjective. So we can see here, I had to do. So here, it must be a verb. And do something to my essay after something. So it's a so we can think it's like after something we review, right? Okay, let's see how I did it in the test. Yeah, review and next. Okay, so this question, the sentence is a bit longer, but sometimes we don't need to pay too much attention on some part of the long sentence. We can just pay most attention here. A new something in human consciousness. We might be on the threshold of a new something. So it must be about a time, right? So I can think about its error. So although it's long, but this part is not that important with this more than something, right? So just when the sentence is long, just focus on the part near the blanks. How can we actually improve this part? It's not only tests if we know the vocabulary and the grammar, and it also has a time limit. So it tests if we can process the information very quickly. So first, I think we need to do two things. First, when you prepare for the test, you need to read lots of real English, like novels or magazine or articles. Then your reading speed and your speed for understanding English will become faster. And second, you also need to do a lot of practice. So if you want to do more practice and improve your performance at this part, you can also go to my website, geenglish.com, to do more practice about this section. Okay, so let's skip to the next section. Okay, next section is mixed language skills. Here you will see different kinds of questions. The first kind is listen and write. Okay, let's see how the question is like.
I became a software engineer after college.
Okay, so this sentence is not very long, so I almost finished the whole sentence the first time I hear the audio. Then we can click the button and play the audio twice to check the sentence and to check some details like if it's became the tense, and also if there is a or some the we missed.
I became a software engineer after college.
Okay, so I just checked at the test. There isn't any mistakes. So just submit.
Besides lending books, libraries offer various other services.
Okay, we can see this question is a little bit longer. So I didn't remember everything for the first time, but at least I just grabbed some key information like besides lending books, the libraries do something, some other services like that. So now I have a general structure, and next I will just play the audio again and to check the missing part.
Besides lending books, libraries offer various other services.
Okay, after I hear the audio twice, I feel I missed something like offer various, so I just modify the sentence, and I just listened to the audio again to check if it's fully correct.
Besides lending books, libraries offer various other services.
Okay, so there's no problem, so I submit. Okay, I think this part tests us a few abilities. First, you're listening. You need to understand the sentence quickly, right? And just grab the major structure and the key words of the sentence. And second, we need to have a short memory. Just remember a part of the sentence and type them in the box very quickly. So the processing speed is also important. So when we are preparing for the Duolingo English test, if we want to improve the performance at this part, we also need to listen to lots of real English, like some podcasts, news, and TV shows, and it can help you to just understand the listening very quickly. And you also need to practice typing, so you can type them in very fast. And for this part, there is also a practice section on my website, the geenglish.com. You can also check the website and to do more practice, help you to improve. Okay, so let's skip to the next question type. And this is another question type. In this section, we can see complete the text with the correct words. For this kind of question, first we need to read the title, A Groundbreaking Choreographer. So the title is about this, and the first sentence is also important. It's the name was one of the most influential ballet choreographer of all time. So we can know this is the whole passage is about a person who is doing ballet. According to this information, we can fill all the blanks here, and you need to just be careful about grammar. Okay, let's skip to my results of in the test. Okay, so I tried my best during the test, but actually you can see I didn't answer all the blanks correctly, because some blanks could be more challenging. But it's okay if you can't answer the question perfectly. Don't be panic if you don't know the answer. Just guess the words or just leave the blanks there. As long as you can answer as much as you can still get a high score. So we don't need to be perfect all the time. Okay, let's see more example. Okay, so we can see this paragraph is about chat app faces a rocky road to ad revenue. So we see this is about the app and about advertising. So one important part is some details. We can see here, that's because the a which are intended. Actually, when I was doing this question, I did at the first time I didn't answer it correctly. I think it's app right from here. But after I type in app, I found which are intended to appear only in the app. So I think are here tells us it's not singular, right? If it's app, here should be is, right? But it's are, it means here must be a plural form. So I think it's as, right? The as appear in the app. So sometimes the grammar, some clue from the other word can tell us what is the right answer. Okay. Now let's skip to the next section. Now it's section 4, interactive reading. So in this section, we will be given 7 minutes or 8 minutes to read a passage and finish all the questions required. Okay, the first question is about to fill all the blanks. So here we need to read the sentence and according to the information and the topic and also the grammar structure to find the right word to fill the blanks. And then actually we will be given a few options for the words. So here we can see, for example, over the past to something, technological development. So here, over the past to something, it's about a time, right? So here we can't say 2 times. So the right word is 2 decades. So decades is the answer here. Okay, so let's skip to the moment I finished all the blank. Now I just finished all the blanks during the test, and some words are based on the topic and information. Some words are just based on the grammar, like this social media has arguably been, right? And actually I think I didn't answer all of them correctly. Maybe some of the blanks were not correct, but we don't need to be perfect all the time. It's okay to make some mistakes. As long as we can answer most of the answers correctly, the score can still be very high. So don't be panic if you don't know some answer. Okay, so next question type. Here we can see this question requires us to choose a sentence to fill the blank and to complete the passage. So my tips and the strategy here is to read the sentence before the blank and after blank. Here we can see the sentence before is about social media has arguably been the single most significant factor in encouraging and enabling these changes. So it's about social media. So this sentence could be also about social media. And the sentence following is, as we increasingly turn to our mobile devices for information. So it's about mobile devices. So this sentence could be about both social media and mobile devices. So let's check. The first answer is telephones and cellular phones. So it's about phones. It's not about these two things. And the second one, our popular social network boasts more than 1 billion active users per month. It's about a social network. And with half of those users accessing the networks from mobile devices. So here we can see mobile devices and the social network. It can perfectly match the 2 keywords here, social media and the mobile devices. So this is the right answer. Okay, so this question is about to highlight the text to answer the question below. What time period is the article focused on? So we just need to find the exact answer. Here, what time period? So here we can only find one piece of information about the time. It's over the past 2 decades. So we just highlight this part, over the past 2 decades. That's what I did. during the test. Yeah, just like that. And next question, what is the most important factor in encouraging and enabling changes in communication? The most important factor here, so we need to find the keywords. I just found here. Social media has arguably been the single most significant factor in encouraging and enabling these changes. So here, the keyword can match here. So what is the most important factor? Social media. So we just highlight the social media. No need a whole sentence, just the keyword, the key answer, social media. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, so this part, select the idea that is expressed in the passage. So we just check some keywords from the idea and to see if it can match. Like here, the rise of mobile computing has fundamentally changed how we communicate with one another and access and exchange information. So mobile computing, we can try to find the keyword, and I found the keyword here during the test. One of the most profound changes has been the rise of mobile computing, which has transformed how we communicate, access information. So this is perfectly match, it can perfectly match the answer. So this is the idea. Also, and some other answer like the printing press, there isn't information about this, and the digital communication technology, there isn't also nothing about digital communication technologies here. So both of them are not the right answer. So answer here is this one. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Okay, here select the best title, and we can see we can just check the keyword cell phones. So this one is not only about cell phones and children. So this passage is not only about children and the growth of mobile computing. So the key idea here is about mobile computing. So this one is the answer. And the cell phone messages, there isn't anything about cell phone messages here. So that's the right answer. Okay, now we have finished. My tip for preparing this section is just to read more real English, like read more articles or like the novels, so it can improve your speed to read and understand the main idea. And also some grammar knowledge is useful here to help you find the right answer, especially in the part to choose the correct words. Okay, so let's go to the next section. Okay, interactive listening. Actually, this part is also a little bit challenging. We have 7 minutes and 45 seconds to finish the whole section, and there will be different questions. Okay, let's see how the question is like. Listen to the scenario and then answer questions. Here we can see a button and to play audio. So in the audio, we can know the scenario about the conversation, and it gives us some key information to answer all the questions. So we need to hear it first.
Your professor has noticed your strong interest and potential in the field of journalism, particularly regarding the role of media in social change. They approach you to invite you to a guest lecture on the subject, feeling that it would be a valuable experience for you. As someone who can be hesitant to step out of your comfort zone, you're considering whether to attend the event or not.
Okay, actually this audio is long, but don't be panic because you can listen to it many times. There isn't a limit. So the first time during the test, I only heard the keyword like journalism, so I'm interested in journalism. Okay, so that's the only thing I can remember after the first time I listened. Okay, so then to fill the other information, I need to listen to the audio again.
Your professor has noted.
Okay, just like that. You can listen to many times, but here we need to pay attention to the time limit, time management, because we're only given like 7 minutes, so we can spend like 2 minutes here Okay, not you can't spend 5 minutes until you make sure everything is correct. Just spend 2 minutes here. Okay, for example, here I use the 1 minute, and after 2 minutes I almost finished all the blanks, but maybe it's not perfect, but we need to leave enough time for the next part. So don't try to use a lot of time and to make everything correct. Just spend 2 minutes, okay? And then we go to the next major part. Here, the major part, the conversation starts here, and we can see the professor is saying something. So we need to listen what he said and answer, and to have a conversation with him based on this sentence.
I read your recent article in the college newspaper, and I was impressed by your insightful perspective on social change. It reminded me of an upcoming guest lecture on the role of media in social change. I think you would benefit greatly from attending.
Okay, so after we hear that sentence, we need to pay attention to two things. First, all the key information in the scenario, and also the information from the sentence. And you need to listen very carefully, because in this part you can only listen once and we can choose the right answer. I answered like 5 or 6 different questions in this part. You can see I didn't answer all the questions correctly. The first 2 questions was wrong, and I finished correctly the rest of the questions. When we finish all the question like this, if there's still time, like 20 seconds left, we should use the time to review the whole conversation, because in the next part, you will be required to write a summary about the conversation. So don't just skip to the next part. As soon as you finish this part, you need to spend the rest of the time to read and review the whole conversation and try to remember all the key information to be used in the next part. Okay, so here during the test, I was spending the time to read it and remember the content of the conversation. So now we went to last part of this section, and we see write a summary. We were only given like 75 seconds. We can organize the answer based on the scenario. I just wrote the answer, and here you need to type very fast and try to write as much as you can to give the full information about the whole conversation. Okay, this is what I could do during the test. My professor was impressed by my article about social changes in the field of journalism, so he recommended a guest lecture to me, but I was hesitant to attend. Then he offered me some materials about the lecture and let me consider to go. Maybe this answer is not perfect, but at least I have included all the information from the conversation. Now it's next section. Okay, next section is writing. Here we will be given 2 tasks, and the total time is 9 minutes. The first task is about writing about description of the image. Now here we only have 1 minute. Please notice that here we don't have time to prepare. The time will start to count immediately when we see the picture, and we need to write immediately. So here I recommend a structure. We can use a structure to answer this question very quickly. And the first sentence can be about the general description of the person and what is she doing. And second, we can describe some details about how the person looks. And the third sentence, we just give some detail about the background. Okay, let's skip the process and see what I wrote within the 1 minute during the test. Okay, this is my answer in the test. And here you can see I just wrote 3 sentences. First one, the photo depicts a woman who is cleaning the front door of a shop. And she is wearing gloves and working very carefully. The second sentence is about her details. And the last one, there are 2 round signs on the window of the doors. So the signs, that's it. Because we only have 1 minute, so we don't have time to think about what to write. We just use 3 sentence structure. 1, 2, 3. and type quickly. This can help you get a high score. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Okay, so this part is prepare to write about topic below, and we will be given 30 seconds to prepare topic, and we will write for 5 minutes. Here we can see people take photos for many reasons, whether that's to keep important moments or just for fun. How do you interact with photography in your life? So the question is, how do you interact with photography? And do you enjoy something like that? Include specific details in your answer. Here I suggest that we should organize the answer with a structure. Let's see what I did during the test. I just wrote as fast as I can, and first I gave a topic sentence. Okay, let's skip to the final answer. There are still 30 seconds left, but I finished the most major part of the article. First, nowadays with advancement, here this sentence is about a topic sentence about the background. And then I started to give the answer. So like, as for me, it's because I ask you, how do you interact with? So as for me, I am a big fan of taking photos. Then I give examples to support, for example, something. And if you still have time, you can also add some extra information, like in addition. So I also give some more information. And finally, use the last 30 seconds. I also wrote a conclusion. Okay, so after that, the structure of this writing is clear. Topic sentence, and first point for example, and the second point, and finally the conclusion. In the test, it's better try to give a structural answer like this. Then after the 5 minutes, we will go to the next follow-up question section. We can see here we only have 3 minutes. So we just focus on answering the question, right? Don't make it too complicated. It's like, describe how your photography skills have developed over time. So we just answer how the skills developed. And did you learn any tips and techniques that improved your pictures? So then we can talk about some tips and techniques. So just answer the question clearly. So skip to the answer, final answer. Okay, so during the 3 minutes, I wrote something like this, and I answered these 2 questions, and I think that's enough. Okay, so next section. So section 7 is speaking, and we need to answer different kinds of speaking tasks. Okay, let's see the first question. Okay, it's prepare to speak about the image below. Now here we have 20 seconds to prepare. So we need to organize the answer. We need to observe the picture. We can see some people are working in front of the train, and a train is just stopping there. Maybe there's something wrong, some problems with the train. And we can also describe the environment. Just organize the answer in a structural way, and from the major characters of the photo and some details, their appearance, their clothes, and what they're doing. And also we describe the train, and also we describe the environment, just like that. My answer was just people who are working in front of a train. I think maybe they are some engineers who are trying to fix the problem of the train. Maybe something happened to the train and it cannot work very well. Okay, so just like this. For this part, you can, if you want like more clear, you need clearer instructions, you can also visit my website and to find some lessons and practice about describing the image. It can help you to organize the ideas quickly in this part. Let's skip to the next. Okay, prepare to speak about the topic below. Here we have 30 seconds to prepare, so we need to read the question very fast and organize the answer. here is to discuss how volunteer work might or might not help people learn and develop useful skills. What are some skills that could be developed outside of classroom? How might volunteer work help a person develop those skills, or where else might they learn them? So here we can also organize the answer like the essay. We give a topic sentence about, we can talk about the background first, and then we give several different points about what are some skills could be developed outside of the classroom, like communication skills, time management skills, like that. And also we can give examples about how we can develop these skills. The way to prepare this part is try to practice organize your answer from topic sentence, from different points, and give detailed examples. And if there's still time, you can also give a conclusion. Okay, so and you need to talk like as much as you can and try to be fluent.
Work can also help people to do next.
Okay, let's just skip
professional work.
So the next part of the speaking section is prepare to have a conversation. So you will listen to 6 questions and have 35 seconds to answer each. So here actually it tests not only our speaking skill but also listening skill. Because if to have a conversation, we need to understand what the other part is talking about, then we can answer the question, right? So listening is also important here. Okay, let's see one question.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about your ideal place to live. Describe something you like about where you live.
It's about where I live, right?
Well, now I'm currently having a business trip, and I'm living in a new and modern apartment building, and I really enjoy the facilities in this building. There is a very beautiful swimming pool and a big gym, so I can do exercise every day, and it's very convenient.
Okay, so the question is about where I live. So my answer is about the building I'm living in. But actually, maybe it's not a standard answer. You can also speak about the city or the town you're living in, right? So there isn't a perfect answer, but just try to understand the key question, key information of the question, and answer the question. It's more important to answer it directly because we don't have much time, right? Okay, so this part, after this part, the speaking section is over. So we can just, okay, now this is the last section. It's a writing and speaking sample. And there are 2 parts, 2 tasks. The first task is writing for 5 minutes. It's actually very similar with the previous writing task. Okay, let's see. So prepare to write about topic below. You have 5 minutes to write, and you have 30 seconds to prepare. So during the 30 seconds, we need to read this question quickly and find all the key information we need to write about. Okay, so do you think that persistence is always the best way to deal with academic difficulties? Okay, so yeah, the strategy and tips is very similar with the previous one, so let's just skip to the answer, like topic sentence, and give a structural answer. And finally, a conclusion. We can see I wrote an article like this within the 5 minutes. And here first is the topic sentence from my perspective. And on the one hand, I give some opinion. And on the other hand, I give the other side and in conclusion. So this is also a well-structured answer. So you need to organize your answer like this in the test. Okay, the last part. Okay, here we can see prepare to speak about the topic below. So we have 30 seconds to prepare, and we will have 3 minutes to speak. So the answer could be a little bit long, right? 3 minutes. So we can check here. Name a person from history you admire. Why do you admire that person? What do you think we can learn from them? So try, if we want to give a longer answer to fill the 3 minutes, we need to give some more details, like name a person. We should give a brief introduction of the person, right? And we can also talk about how did we know the person, how we knew this person, and why do you admire that person. Here we need to give like 2 or 3 points why we admire, right? And we can also give examples. And finally, what do you think we can learn? So we can also give more than 1 point what we can learn. So during this part, you need to try to speak as much as you can, because 3 minutes is a little bit long. So try to give more details, examples, and extra information. Okay, so here during the test, I talked about Adam Smith and just answer the question in that structure. And now this is the final part of the test. Then we can see how much score I got. Yeah, so my final score was 140 to 150. So I think it's enough, right, for any purpose, for studying abroad or anything. So, but you can see actually I made some mistakes during the test, all right? So it means we don't need to be perfect to get a high score. So if you don't know the answers of some questions, or if you're not sure if all the answers are correct, actually it's okay. So don't be panic, okay? Don't be panic if you don't know something. So just keep calm and try to answer other questions that you know. This is all the tips and the strategies and experience about taking the Duolingo English test. I think if you want to get some more resources to practice and improve, you can also go to my website. Now this is the end of this video, and if you feel it's very useful, please don't forget to give thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tips and information about the Duolingo English test. Okay, see you next time.